Alright, so let's go. So chapter 4, software, systems and application software. So before you watch this video, make sure you watch chapter 3 because it follows chapter 3. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so principles. So basically to summarize this, at the end of the day, there's different system application softwares that are in place. Also, there's lots of operating software. Now these softwares all work together in order to help basically, make this computer-based system, okay? Without all these softwares, computer-based systems will not work, okay? They will not operate. So you need all this programming, the softwares, these computers all come together in order to make this work in a business or in an organization. Now, what is a software? Now, software is a computer program, right? For example, you might have Microsoft, you might have Apple, you might have Android. All these are different softwares, right? Each software has a different purpose. One software might be easier to use, which you like. One software might be hard. One software might have a lot of storage. One software might be, most preferred by certain types of people. So software is like a computer program, right? You got Windows, that's a software. Apple, it's a software. Okay? Now an application software, however, is basically made for that particular application. For example, Android, your phone, is a software. However, the games which you download from the Play Store, the games itself is not an Android software. It's not made with an Android software. It's made, for example, with a different software, okay? So the apps on its own, okay, is an application software. It has its own software. It doesn't use the software that is made on the phone, okay? Now, what is a system software, right? System software is such as an operating system. Now, an operating system software is like Android, okay? It's an operating system. Microsoft, okay? These are operating softwares. Windows, it's an operating software. If you go use a computer, okay? Microsoft, it's an operates the computer, okay? It basically connects everything together. There's different types of operating systems. For example, you get Microsoft, then you get Windows, then you get Apple. For example, if you compare Microsoft to Apple, right? Apple, there might be different types of icon. The layout might be different, okay? While Windows, the layout would be different compared to Apple. So there's different advantages, disadvantages. There's different types of business that like a certain type of software, okay? Operating software. Now, without an operating software, your computer won't work. Because operating systems are probably the most important thing. Without it, your computer-based system, will not operate, will not work. Alright, so there's a lot of software tasks, right? What they do, they input from the keyboard. So basically, what are inputs, right? They're basically your keyboard, your mouse, your storage disk. They're basically something which you do first. For example, the mouse, right? When you move the mouse on your computer, that's an input. So what's the operating system going to do? It's going to be like, okay, the user is moving the mouse, so let me move the cursor on the screen. So that's what operating system is for. Now, graphical user interface is, how your phone, you got apps and they got a picture of that app and you click it and you open it. That's a GUI, graphical user interface. It shows a picture of what you want. Well, a command-based interface is like, how can I explain? So for example, it's like you type a word. So if you want to open an app, you go into a command and you say open this app and it'll open for you. So instead of pressing the picture, you tell it what to open, okay? In the computer, if you type in command prompt and search, you'll come to that place where you can actually tell the computer what you want via your wording, okay? Sentences. Now, the different system software tasks, right? As I said, it's to memory, it's for storage, it's processing information, like how I gave the example of your keyboard. When you press the keyboard keys, it processes what letter you press and it shows you in the screen. Network has to allow for Wi-Fi, data, connection. Also security is most important. It has to have password protect, where you can create passwords and protect all your important stuff. So everything on your files are there in your computer, okay? Common operating systems, I told you, right? Windows, Microsoft Windows. There's Apple, there's Linux. Now, Microsoft Windows in South Africa is probably one of the most popular ones. Okay, everywhere you'll see it. I think the most important reason why Microsoft Windows will be cheaper than Apple, okay? Work group, same thing, okay? All these are operating softwares. Enterprise operating system, also business operating systems. So business operating system, now when you own a business, right? you want an operating system which will suit you. Now, for example, if you own a small business, you can use Microsoft. Okay, Microsoft. It's a perfect Windows. Okay, it's a perfect type of operating system. It's cheap. It's cost effective. Okay, you don't need to buy the most expensive Apple operating system. Why? They both do the same tasks. Okay, but Windows will be more better, right? You can do Word on it. Okay, if you're in accounting business, you can do Word. You can do Excel. However, in Apple, you might not use Word, you might not Excel, because they don't use Apple software. They use Microsoft operating software, you see. So this is how I am saying that different types of operating systems, they give their advantages, they give their disadvantages, okay? Now, mobile operating systems. There's Android, there's Apple, Mobicel, all the, actually no, Mobicel is a type of name, but Android, Apple, these are mobile operating systems, okay? They operate on your phone. Most popular one is Android. Okay, now to understand utility programs extremely well, it's basically this. It's a doctor. It makes sure your computer is okay. It prevents your computer from getting sick. Now what I mean by sick, from viruses. It's actually funny, viruses and sick. But anyways, what I'm trying to say, it basically keeps your computer alive, doing well, okay? Now if you look at their virus detection, okay? If you have a virus, your computer will tell you that, listen, you have a virus, let's clear it out, okay? File compression, utility spam. So when you get ad pop-ups, right? It'll manage that too, okay? Network utilities. So for example, if your network is not working, it'll tell you that, listen, your network is disabled, or your Wi-Fi, when it's not working properly, it'll tell you that. It'll also make sure for updates, right? Server updates. So sometimes you'll update your phone, so your utility program will be like, okay, you know what, your operating system is slowing down, you need to update it. So it'll make your computer better and make it last longer and make it basically prevent it from getting sick, if you know what I mean. It doesn't let your computer, what can I say, it doesn't let your computer be like in a bad state, okay? It makes your computer good. Now, middleware. Okay, so to understand this concept very easily, picture two people, right, and a child. Person A will send the child to talk to person B. At the end of the day, person A and person B do not come in direct contact. They do not talk to each other directly, but they're receiving communication from the child. So similarly, a software is like that. For example, if you got a business, let's say customer support, okay? So there's a bunch of employees answering questions from people, customers, okay? So you got customers who go on the website of the company and they want to have a question, okay? So what they'll do is they'll go into some businesses have live chat where they will type the questions and this will be sent to the employees. But what the middleware is going to do is this. It will receive the question which the customer has and it will categorize them. For example, it might be question regarding sales. So now it'll send it to a different person. It might be a question regarding deliveries. It might be send it to a different person. So it'll require the customer to already specify which type of category it'll fall under and it'll send it over there. So the question is not going directly to the employees. It's going to a system and the system says, okay, this is what type of problem is. They'll send it to this employee because this employee will help this person. So it acts as a middleware, okay? Now in application software, we just spoke about this, right? Applications have their own software, okay? The way it's programmed, the way it's designed, the way it works, it has its own programming software. Now overview of application software, okay, there's different types. Proprietary software, think about private, okay? It's privately owned by businesses. For example, UKZN. The UKZN server is a special software that is used so you can cater for learners' needs, for example, Moodle and all this stuff. It's not available to the public. The public can't ask for it and use it, you know what I mean? It's for particular business, privately owned. Another one is off the shelf. Now, off the shelf means you can buy the software. A lot of business such as Microsoft will sell these packages to people like us. Okay, you have to pay for it. Then you can use Excel, you can use Word, okay? So you can pay for it. Common applications are like your Word, spreadsheet, databases, graphic programs, all these Microsoft, Excel, all these are application softwares, okay? Programming languages. Now, when you're a developer, a computer engineer, you basically need to create apps. In doing so, creating apps, you create softwares for these apps. Now, you can't create something like an app without using programming languages. So basically, it's coding, right? There's different types of coding. There's like Java. So these are different languages, right? So you make code with these languages, and basically the computer will transfer this code into an actual app, okay? For example, if you go in an app and if you press a button, for example, if you got a car racing game, you press the accelerator, the car will move. So the programmer will use programming languages to tell it, okay, computer, when this user press this button, you must move, the car must move. But he doesn't say that in English, obviously. He needs to translate that into languages. And these are different languages it can translate to. So that's how programs are built. Software issues and trends. Now, obviously, if you have software, there'll be a lot of things that can go wrong, such as software bugs, which are basically errors in softwares. Some companies can't identify these errors, okay, but when it's given to the user, they identify it, okay. For example, if one application is not working, let's say the developer never see that. Now, when you give the software to the customer, it can't open the application, right? It's very, very common among games and stuff, okay. Copyrights, people can steal the software, okay, use without permission. Software upgrades, to upgrade your software as the trend continues. Okay, you can't keep the same software. Like Android, you need updates. Your phone will need an update once in a while. So in summary, summary, programming, softwares, all these are needed for your computers. At the end of the day, if you don't have it, you don't have an operating system, it will all not work, okay? Softwares, application software, operating system, all these all go together, right? You cannot pick one and say this is the most important or this is the least important. No, if one goes out of the equation, your equation won't work, okay? So for a computer to work, you need software, you need hardware, you basically need every single thing put together in order to operate a system or to work a computer. Thank you. Subscribe.